Okay, well, welcome back to Salsa Goals, and this is just a bonus video. I'm not stopping the salsa content. This channel is about salsa music and dance concepts, and I'm not stopping that at all. I'm just making a bonus video for those who are interested in how I create my videos. There are many people who want to start out in YouTube, but they wonder if it's too expensive. Are they going to be able to actually do it? And the purpose of this video is to show that it is possible to create a video for next to nothing. It's very inexpensive, and I want to show what my process is. Of course, things have changed now since when I first started my channel. Now you have YouTube automation, you have AI. I'm not going to deal with any of that. I'm just going to deal with the process that I used to create my videos. And I'm going to start with as you can see here on my screen, this is the video creation process, and this is basically how I put together a video. It's very important, but you'll want to stick around to the end of this video, because I'm going to mention the two things that are the most important things for you to do before any of this. So, starting with my video creation process, I start off with phase one. There are three phases. The first phase I call the storyboard phase, as you can see here. And this is the meat and potatoes, as you will, the motor, the engine of the video creation process. This is where I write everything that I'm going to say. As you know, my channel is a faceless YouTube channel. That means it's a whiteboard animation channel, and a whiteboard animation consists of various scenes which form the animation, and also a narration to go along with it. So that narration is what everything is based on, and the narration is what I'm going to do in the storyboard phase. Step one of the storyboard phase is to write the script for the video. So if you're doing a regular video, you're recording yourself talking, you might not need a script, but for the purposes of a whiteboard animation, a script is very important. So you want to first of all write your script, and for that you don't need any kind of technology. You can use a pen and paper if you want. You can use Microsoft Word. I used to use Evernote. I don't use that anymore, but you can use a note-taking app. Whatever it is for you to get your ideas down on paper, that's the script. And you're going to write out word for word every sentence that's going to be narrated in the video. That's the script. Now, step two. This is where it gets interesting. This is where I'm going to take my script and I'm going to divide what I've said into various scenes. Each scene is going to be maybe a few sentences long, and that's going to be my scene. So I'm going to call this the scene visualization step. And this is where I write out my individual scenes. And then not only am I going to divide my scenes into different numbers, but also for each scene I'm going to indicate what I want that scene to look like on the animation. Do I want an image to be displayed? Do I want a video to be displayed? Do I want that image to be drawn on screen? Do I want it to fade in? Do I want it to fade out, to zoom in, zoom out? How do I want that image to enter and exit the scene? That's the scene visualization. So if you were to write out a storyboard like this, you would write out your script, and and for the entire script, each paragraph or each sentence would be its own separate scene, and under that scene you would have your image that you're going to use, that you plan on using. And for that, basically all it takes is your imagination as to what you want that scene to look like. But then you go into the final step in this phase, which is the asset gathering phase. And this is where I take my storyboard, my script, and my scenes, and then I take the images that I plan on using, and this is where I actually gather them and make sure I have them on my computer. And what I do for that is I create a folder. You can see here, this is my creations folder. This is where I keep all of my projects, and each project I have a separate folder for that. So for example, if you take the video I did on where did the name Salsa come from, I have a folder for that, and within that folder I created a separate folder for the images for that video and a separate one for the videos. And for the one for the images, that's where I save all the images I'm going to use. So if I don't already have, and as I've accumulated images, because I don't draw any of my images, I get them from different places online, and I'm going to show that to you now. But once I get them, I save them in a master folder, and then from that master folder I will save them into this project folder that I'm going to use. Now if I don't already have the image, I'm going to show you where to go to get it. Now keep in mind that in YouTube you can't just put whatever image or video or song that you want on your videos, because they're copyrighted, and you could get in trouble for that. You know, you can get a copyright strike, a content ID strike. The person whose content you're using, they could ask you to take it down. They could, you can get into all kinds of trouble for that. So I get my images from royalty-free sites that are free to use on the internet, no license required. And the first one I use is called freesvg.org. SVG stands for Scalable Vector Graphics. It's a type of file that supposedly it's better or easier for a whiteboard animation software to use, because the hand that animates or that draws the image, it's easier for that hand to use this type of file, which is called an SVG file. So say for example, I have a scene that involves me saying something about a house. I just type house here in the search box, and as you can see, a bunch of houses come up. I select a house that I like. For example, if I like say something like this, I select it, and then I can just download it and save it to my computer to wherever I want to save it to. Another site which I like, which is become my go-to site, is Pixabay. And Pixabay is a site where it has all kinds of images, not just vector files, but also it has JPG files. It also has PNG files, or these types of illustrations. So I can specify here, for example, where it says all images, I can specify illustrations. Illustrations of a house will come up. I can specify vectors. These are the vector graphics, but I can also specify photos, and these are like photographs of a house that I can use as well. And another bonus to this site is I can also specify videos. So I'm not exactly sure what roosters have to do with a house, but say for some strange reason I want to use this video, I could just click on the video, and here it is, free for me to use, and I can simply download it. I can choose the resolution, and I can save it. So this is another site I use. Another site I use is called Pexels.com. This is another one that it has a lot of photos I can use, as well as videos. So no illustrations here, just basically photographs and also videos. I also tend to use another site that's also free called Unsplash.com, and this is another site where it has a lot of photographs that I can use as well. So these are some resources. There are some subscription-based resources which are really, really good if you have the money for it. It's Shutterstock.com is one example. This has millions of images and things that you can use. There is a pricing schedule or pricing plans for subscription. The lowest, the annual subscription is $29 a month. There's a month-to-month subscription. There's also a free trial if you want to test it out, and you can use that as well. And there are other sites that also cost money, but the free ones that I use are those three: freesvg.com, Pixabay, Pexels, and also Unsplash.com. So once I have selected all my images, I save them to this folder, and I'm ready to move on to the next phase. The next phase is the audio phase. And before I open this up and show it to you, let me just write this here: phase 2, audio soundtrack. And this is the phase where I record my audio. So in the first phase, I've written the script, I've gotten all the images that I'm going to use. I'm not going to do the videos yet because I need to do the audio first before I can do the videos. So first I do the audio soundtrack, and the first step is easy. It's simply to record the audio. And for that, there's a free, and that's to record the audio narration. And for that, there's a free service I use, a free program I use, which is called Audacity. And Audacity is a great free program that I use to record all my audio. Now, of course, if you want to do any of this, of course, to begin with, you need a computer. So I recommend a desktop or a laptop. I use a Dell Optiplex. That's just what I have. It's not, I can put a link to it in the description below the video. There are plenty of good laptops, but also for this particular phase, you would need a microphone because you're going to record your audio. So when it comes to microphones, I like to use the Samsung Q2 microphone, and this is what I use. There are different types of microphones out there. Just briefly to go into it, there are condenser microphones that are very popular with YouTubers and podcasters, and those are microphones like the Blue Yeti and other types of microphones. There are many of them that they're very good at picking up whatever sound is is around them. So if you, no matter where you're positioned in relation to your microphone, a condenser microphone will pick up your voice, and if you have a good recording environment, it's a great microphone. However, for my particular purposes, my environment, there's a lot of background noise, and I don't want to pick all that up. So I chose a dynamic microphone. A dynamic microphone like this one is a microphone where in order for it to pick up your voice, you need to be directly in front of it. So I like that because it kind of reduces the possibility of background noise, at least for me. This is a picture of the Samsung Q2. So before I had this microphone, I used to record to my cell phone and then email the file to myself and edit the audio. That was very cumbersome and it wasn't very good quality. So when I got my microphone, things really improved in that aspect. So once I have that microphone and everything, I want to record my audio in Audacity. And to do that, I simply click record and start speaking. Hi, this is a test of the Audacity software. I'll stop that, play it. Hi, this is a test of the Audacity software. So that's it. So I'm going to basically record my audio narration, and I'm going to just close this and import some audio that I've already recorded, so you see what it looks like. So I'll just import the audio from the video. Where did the name Salsa come from, for example? I'm going to open this up, and this is what it looks like when I record my audio. I'm going to magnify it up here. This is what it looks like. It's a waveform. So the first step is for me to speak naturally, reading my script word for word and recording it. Once I do that, it's time to move on to step 2. And step 2 is the audio cleanup phase. And this is where I just take what I've recorded and I clean it up. This is a tedious phase because I'm going to go through the entire audio. I'm going to remove any noise. I'm going to, if there are any pauses, I'm going to shorten them or lengthen them. I'm going to clean up any sounds. So if any sounds are kind of harsh or not as smooth as I would like, I'm going to use the editing and so forth. So I'm going to do all of that, and that is phase 2. Then that's phase 2, step 2, which is the audio cleanup. Then I'm going to go to step 3 in this phase, and this is to add the music. As you know, all of my whiteboard animations feature a narration with accompanying music. This is the music phase. So as I mentioned, you can't just get your music from anywhere or use anybody's music. You want to make sure it's copyright free. So a good resource is in YouTube. Actually, when I first started the first year of making my videos, I used to use this free resource in YouTube. And basically, let me just refresh here. So basically what I would do is go to in YouTube to my videos. This opens up the YouTube Creator Studio, and on the left hand panel you see Audio Library, the YouTube Audio Library, and this is a resource of free tracks from YouTube that you can use in your videos. So for example, if I want something that's salsa, I just put in salsa in the search bar and all these songs come up. I can preview it by clicking on the play button, and if I like that, I just click download, and I can save it to the area of my choice for use later. You also have sound effects here, and this is completely free. However, I decided to level up, and I now use a site known as Epidemic Sound, which is really great. There is a subscription to it for the pricing. As you can see here, if you pay for everything up front for the whole year, it's $9.99, and otherwise if you pay monthly, it's $17.99. But if you pay yearly, again, it's $9.99. It's well worth it because this is really high quality audio. And when it comes to YouTube videos, that's the most important thing, because if your video quality is not that great, people still might watch it. But if your audio quality is bad, that's really going to cause them to leave and watch something else. So audio is really important. So here I can do the same thing. I can search for a type of music, salsa. All this comes up, and say I am looking at a particular song that I want to use. I want to use this song here. I click play. And as you can see, I have a lot of things I can choose from.
El son de Cuba traigo yo.
Okay, and all I can do is, once I find a song I like, I can just click the downward arrow to download it. And I have a choice of downloading just the entire song with everything, or I can actually break it up and download individual parts of the song, like the melody only, instruments, bass, drums, or whatever combination I want. So this is a site that I use for my music. So going back to Audacity, I have my narration. It's edited the way I want it, and now I'm ready to add the music. So I just go to File, Import Audio. I go to to a folder where I have my songs. Say I want an Epidemic song. I want this song here. I can look for the instrumental version there. I open it, and it opens into a separate track. Then I just double click it, because obviously looking at the size of the waveform is going to be very loud. So I double click it to select the entire track. I go to Effect, Volume, Amplify, and I put in a negative number like -20. That reduces the volume. And now
salsa is a sauce used to add flavor to food. But
there you go. So I basically I might have to the song itself might be shorter than the actual narration, so I might have to copy and paste it twice, and then edit the intersection between the two copies of the song so it's very smooth and sounds like one track. And then I save it. It saves both the tracks combined into one. It saves as a WAV file, because I want to do some further editing to it. So I might, for example, fade it in at the beginning and then fade out at the end to make it sound better. I save it again as an MP3 file rather, and I'm ready to go. So that is that's what I do as far as that's concerned. Now, one thing I need to do before I move on to the next and very important stage, which is the video creation stage. One thing I want to do, if you remember, when I visualize the scenes, I mentioned the images I wanted. I also mentioned that videos might be used. Like I might use a video clip, because my whiteboard animations, if you've seen them, they sometimes feature videos that are like drawn on screen, and then they start moving like a regular video and so forth. Well, I also have those indicated in my videos, but I didn't save them yet, because I needed to create the audio first, because I need to know how long that scene is going to be, so I know how long my video is going to be. So that's the next step. It's actually, you can think of it as a step 4 in this phase, and this is edit the video clips that I'm going to use. And for this, I have some free resources I use. I like to use a resource called Shotcut. So again, I want to make sure I have permission to use these videos, so I don't get any kind of copyright strikes. And once I have the video that I want to use, this is where I go, for example, to edit the video. So say, for example, I'm going to go to my video folder. Say I want to use this video here. Turn the sound off. And then I drag it down to my timeline in Shotcut. and I can cut the video to the size that I want it to be. And also, since my videos feature, of course, salsa music, and if there's a video that I'm using within the video that has people dancing, I want to make sure the dancing is the same speed as the music. So what I can do is I can play my soundtrack in one window, go back here, play the video, and then I can go to properties and go to speed, and I can adjust the speed to make sure it matches. Once I do that, I select the portion of the video I want to use. If the scene is 10 seconds long, I want to make a video that's 8 seconds long, so it has time to enter the scene and exit the scene. And I choose a part of the video that's 8 seconds, I cut it, and I save it. But I'm not finished because the original sound that the video came with is still attached to the video, and I want to remove it because I have my own soundtrack. So another file that I use, another program I use, is called OpenShot. And it has many features. I happen to like to use it to take out the sound of a video. So if I want to do that, I just click the plus button up here. I go to my video. I select the clip that I want. And let me just go to something that I've already cut as a video. So let me go to the folder for the name salsa. For example, I go to my vid folder. This is where I save my videos. Say I want to use this video of a crowd, and there's sound to it. I just load it up here. I drag it down to a timeline to one of these tracks. I go to the video itself, and what I do is I right click on it, go to volume, entire clip, 0, and now there's no sound. I save it again, and I just save it back into the folder, maybe perhaps under a new name, and now I have my video and I'm ready to use that video. So those are the first two phases, and now we're heading to the main event, what we've all been waiting for, the video creation stage, where I actually create the whiteboard animation video. The main event is phase 3, and phase 3 is what we've been building up to, and that's the whiteboard animation video creation phase. Okay, and I'm going to just bold this and underline it. So this is where we actually create our video. So step 1 is where we take everything that we've written in the script and all the images that we've gathered and everything, and we put it on the screen, on the actual video. So step 1, and let me just take this off. Okay, so step 1 is to create the video, and in order to create the video, I actually use a whiteboard animation program which is called Doodle Ooze. And if you're familiar with Explaindio, Doodle Ooze is the whiteboard animation portion of Explaindio, and there are many whiteboard animation software out there. There's Doodly, there's Animaker, Video Scribe, Mango Animate, Beyond, Powtoons, Adobe, the list goes on. But I chose Doodle Ooze because I like the price point. I paid a one-time price of $67. It might be a little bit less now. And it also has the functionality that I like. There are a lot of other whiteboard animation software that's a lot more expensive, and also they don't do all the things that Doodle Ooze does for me that I need it to do. So that's good. It's a one-time cost of I believe $67 when I first bought it. Right now it might be a little bit less than that. So let me just go to the Doodle Ooze page really quickly and just tell you about what it is now. And this is just the page for Doodle Ooze, and it tells you a little bit about what the software is and everything for you to go ahead and get it. So I'll actually right now it's $37, so it's even less than when I first bought it. So I'll include a link to this in the description, but I wanted to let you know what that is. The only thing I didn't like about it is, even though it was a one-time payment, every year on the anniversary date they would charge me like $30 or something, as if it was an ongoing subscription. However, I don't like that, but I don't really mind it that much because I like the software, and it's not really that much. But again, I chose Doodle Ooze because not only is it less expensive than the other software packages, but also it has the functionality that I like. So with Doodle Ooze, basically what I do is I create a new project, and I'm just gonna put salsa test video. I create, and then I simply hit the plus button here on the left side of the upper left side of the screen to create a new scene. I select create new scene, and here I can just create a scene with whatever I want. If I want it to be just text, I can click add text. If I want it to be an image, I can click add doodle, or bitmap image if it happens to be a JPEG or a PNG file or a photo or something. Or if I want to add video, I can do that. So for example, let's just add a doodle. I'm going to click add doodle, browse for sketch, and I'm going to look in my computer for images. So as you remember, in phase 1, step 2 was to step 3 rather was to gather the assets and save them in the computer. So in each project file, I have a folder for the images and one for the videos. I'm going to click the images folder, and these are all the images that I was able to gather for this particular project. Say I want to take something such as let's say I want to take a piano. I'll open that, and as you can see, a piano. I click on the arrow here. This is how it appears on the timeline right here. I click on this arrow, add new effect. I want it to be sketched. I click sketch by hand, close the canvas, and now you can see it gives me a preview of what it's going to look like. If I want to change the hand, I can open the canvas again, choose hand, and I want the hand that's drawing it to be like this, for example. And now I close the canvas, and it's drawing a piano. So I can use this bar right here to, change the length of how long I want the piano drawn. If I want it short, if I want it to be very quickly drawn, or if I want it to take more time so that it's drawn like that. I could also add an effect as to how I want the piano to exit the scene once it's drawn. So if I wanted to zoom in, for example, I select the add new effect, kinetic text out, hide zoom in, and now after it's drawn, it zooms in. And using my script, I will do this for every single scene in the video that I want to create. So I'm going to open a project that I've already done, and since we're talking about the project, where did the name Salsa come from, I'm going to go into that folder, and I'm going to open up a doodle video that I've already done so you can see what it looks like. So for example, let me just find it here. Okay, so this is the video, and this is the doodle sketch I created, and as you can see, this is what it looks like. It's loading. As you can see, I have a bunch of different scenes that I've created exactly the way that I wrote in my storyboard. That's why I mentioned that the storyboard is so important. It's the engine that drives everything. So after I put everything on the screen, my videos, my images, the way I want them to, then it's time for step 2. So if you go back to the video creation process, step 2 is to add the audio soundtrack. So then I simply go to Doodle Ooze, I go to audio, I go to music, I browse for the music I want, and it's right here. I select it, I click open.
Salsa is a sauce used to add flavor to food. But who is the
I close that window, and now the audio is there. So the only thing I now need to do is go to each and every individual scene and make sure that the length of that scene matches the audio for that scene. So if a particular scene, if it takes me about maybe say 10 seconds to say it, I want to make sure that the video matches the audio so that everything is in sync. Once I do that, it's time to move on to step 3, and this is a very simple step. I simply generate the video, and for that, once everything is the way I like it, I go to Doodle Ooze, I go to create video. I select my, first of all, export path and file name, which is in the folder for the video. So say for example, at the folder for my project, I just select that folder. Then the video size, I select the highest possible, which is the 1920 by 1080, which is the resolution that I believe is that I use for YouTube videos. The video quality, I keep it as perfect, and the export speed, I like to use it as stable because that, for me at least, I find that allows everything to remain in sync just the way I set it up. Then I simply click on Start Export, and then it starts to generate the video. Once it's finished, and this might take a little bit of time, maybe 10-20 minutes or so. Once it's finished, I look at the video. If it's the way I want, I save it to my computer, and I use that to upload to YouTube. If it's not the way I want it, I might have to go back and adjust some things in my whiteboard animation, and then regenerate the video again. And then basically I just once it's done, I'm ready to upload it to YouTube. Now that's my
Blackboard Doodle videos.
Sorry about that. That's my video creation process. One thing I wanted to mention is that this is what's going to allow you to create your video, from storyboard to audio soundtrack to the whiteboard animation creation, or whatever type of medium you use to express or to create your faceless video, if you decide to do a faceless video. Now, I mentioned earlier that you want to stick around for the end of this video because I'm going to mention the two most important things. It does not matter how good your video is unless you do these two things, because if you don't do them, then no one will see your video. Perhaps it's like, if you have a great work of art that is one of the best things that the world of art has. It's a great painting. It could be the best painting in the world, but if you leave it in the corner of a garage, and it's barely visible, not many people are going to see it. So the same thing happens with your YouTube video. If you want to have a successful video, aside from just having great content, there's two things that you need to do. There are two things that you need to make sure that you're on top of. And number one is your title. And the reason for that is very simple. If you go to YouTube is a search engine. So many times people will go to YouTube to find a video to solve some problem that they're looking for, how to do something or what have you. And they'll type in a question. So for example, if someone types in the question, how to dance salsa for example, you notice YouTube already populates the rest of that phrase. For example, how to dance salsa for beginners, how to dance salsa with a partner, how to dance salsa solo, so there are many different things that will come up. So the purpose of a title is to make sure that when people are searching for whatever topic your video is on, your video will be one of the ones that comes up in the search. That makes it more likely that people will watch your video. So to do that, I have a subscription to a service called TubeBuddy. TubeBuddy is excellent. It's great for YouTube creators for analyzing videos. It has many features, but when it comes to creating titles, I like to use what's called the Keyword Explorer. And what I can do is, in this search box, I can type out what I plan on using as my title, and I will get a score to see how that title stacks up. So for example, if I want to say who created the word salsa, or the label salsa, for example, I can click explore and it'll give me a score. So for example, the unweighted score is very good, but the unweighted score is basically for all of YouTube videos. You want to concentrate on the weighted score because that's unique to your channel. So this tells me that this title is very good. It's a 75 out of 100. So that's not bad. I want to maybe change something here. Maybe I'll say who invented the word salsa, for example, to see how that does. And that's just an example, and I get an excellent score, 100 out of 100 for my weighted score. So this tells me that this might be a good title for me to use. So this is a tool that I like to use in order to find out what might be a good title to use. Another tool that I can also use is called VidIQ, and whichever one you use, TubeBuddy or VidIQ, they're both great services. I happen to have a paid subscription to TubeBuddy, which is about $5. I don't currently have the VidIQ subscription. I have the free version of it, but this is also another great tool that you can use. Now, once you've chosen your title, which is very important, that's how your video will hopefully come up when people are searching for the topic that your video is dealing with. However, if the thumbnail is not very good, then even if it comes up in the search results, they might not click on your video. So that's the second thing. In addition to a good title, you also want to have a great thumbnail, because that's what hopefully will cause people to want to click on your video, so that they can see all the wonderful content that you've come up with. So one of the things I use is a service called Canva.com. When I first started using it, I was using the free subscription. Now I use the paid subscription, which is about like $14, almost $15 a month, which is it's well worth it, because if you're not a graphic designer like myself, I'm not a graphic designer, it really helps to have pre-made templates that you can use and customize. For example, here in Canva, I can select YouTube thumbnail, and as you can see, I get a whole lot of different pre-made templates that I can use in my own video. So I can take something like this, for example, and I can take it and then customize it. I can change the fonts, I can change the colors, I can change the image, I can change different aspects of it, but I can still pretty much use this template as a starting point. So if you look at my channel, for example, and I'm going to go to my channel and to my videos, and if you notice something here, you see this video right here on the left, you see the woman, and if you look at Canva, that's it. So you can actually use these assets and create different thumbnails from them. If you notice, this second video right here was US Salsa dancing invented in the 1970s. You notice the background to that, and you see it's the same background as this. So you can mix and match and do things. If you have a free subscription, you notice some of these thumbnails have this icon here, like a crown, and it says Pro. Those are for those who have a Pro subscription that they're paying for. So if you have the free subscription, you might not have access to all of the assets or things that are here on Canva. But if you have the Pro subscription, then you'll be able to use a lot more. I actually also, on my channel, I also have a merchandise shop where I have, Salsa Goals merchandise, t-shirts, sweaters, different clothing items, and I actually use Canva to design the slogans I use and the t-shirt design. So there's a lot you can do with Canva, but those are the two most important things. No matter how good your video is, you definitely want to have a good title and a very good thumbnail. And there are many YouTube videos out there that talk about how to create really good titles and really good thumbnails, but these are just some resources that I like to use in addition that you could use to try to come up with those very important things. And ideally, you want to create a good title and a good thumbnail before you do everything. So if you look at my process here, it's a 3-phase process. Ideally, before you even get started with phase 1, you want to be thinking of a possible title and a thumbnail if possible. You want to do this as early as possible in the process. So I made this video again just to explain how easy it is to get started in YouTube for very little, if anything, very little money, if anything. It's very inexpensive, and I have a lot of resources. I'll put a link in the video description to many of these free resources, and also the other resources and the gear that I use as well for those who are interested. I'm not stopping the salsa content. I'm not changing the focus of the channel. It's still about salsa music and dance concepts. This is just, again, a bonus video for those who might be interested. So be on the lookout because there's more salsa videos coming up. I'm actually working on my next video right now, so that's going to keep coming. But this is just for those who are looking to get started in YouTube and who are curious about, you know, how can I get started? What's the process like? Again, there's automation nowadays. There's AI that can be used to streamline a lot of this. This was done before any of that. This is just my 3-step process, starting from scratch as to how I can create a faceless video. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any comments, any suggestions, any observations, please feel free to leave those comments. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And as always, stay safe, stay connected to the music, and most importantly, keep dancing salsa.